Okay, Mark Fitzsimons, we're at the election count. Can you tell me, some of the independents are feeling bad about running for election. What do you think about that?
Well, I ran in the local campaign and I ran in the European, and I didn't get elected in the locals, and I know it's, you know, when you put all your heart into it and you expect, or you're thinking you might get elected and then you don't, you know. But some people are feeling a little bit kind of down or whatever, you know, or that they've, you know, that's the end of it and that. But I think everybody should be proud of themselves. Putting your name on the ballot paper was it was a brave thing to do. It's the first step. Most times as an independent, because you're working against the political machine, as we'd like to call it, the chances are that you're probably not going to get elected. You get it, but it's about getting out there, putting your name on the ballot paper. Yesterday, by putting your name on the ballot paper, you give people something to vote for, and it worked. An awful lot of Labour people voted for independence, and Labour are gone, and some independents got in. And what you've done by putting your name on the paper is that you put your name out there. People will know you the next time coming around, and it's about staying involved in your community. The projects that you identified before your election that you'd like to deliver, it's about working hard on them, continue to work, and maybe the next time you might get in. But fair play to all for putting their name on the paper. And as I say, for myself running in Europe, I mean, there wasn't really a hope that I was going to get elected the first time out in that, but as I say, it was about putting my name in there. It was about it was a success. I mean, Luke Ming Flanagan is going to be going to Europe, and I mean that's a success all around. That's a great day for independence in Ireland. Okay. Something for us all to be proud of. But it was great to have other independents on the ballot paper, so the transfers were going to other independents rather than going to Labour. So I think overall, given that yesterday or Friday's election is a success.
Okay. Would you have a message for Luke Ming Flanagan at all?
Yeah, I think best of luck in Europe, and I think you've worked hard for your seat, and I think Ming will be Ming no matter where he goes, whether you put him in local government, whether you put him in national government, European government. You know, people are saying, oh, well, Ming will go over there and he won't get the speaking time. I think Ming is going to be Ming, and if he sees something wrong, he'll expose it. And all I can say is, when we see what happened to the Gardaí, there'll be probably stories coming in about the European police force by the time it's all finished. But yeah, best of luck, and you know, I think it's a great day.
Okay, and just one other thing is RTE media coverage. How did you feel about that? You raised that in prime time.
I think that RTE manipulated or helped. I think what happened was Fine Gael and Labour are the government parties. The government, whether we like it or not, RTE is state controlled, it's state ran. I think what happened in this election, it's quite clear, it wasn't just ourselves, the activists saying this time that the RTE are censoring things. It was very, very clear to the people who were voting that RTE were manipulating the outcome of the result. Now that's a very serious accusation, but the evidence is there. I mean, in all the different debates, all candidates are supposed to be treated equally and fairly. Now, there was 3 or 4 debates where they brought in what RTE were calling the main candidates, although we're supposed to be all equal and fair, or all treated equally and fairly. Now all of a sudden they had main candidates, and they brought those in for 3 or 4 different shows where they were in for 40 minutes, and the rest of us was given a minute and a half. Now a minute and a half recording doesn't give you time to say who you are, why you're running, what your issues are, and then to open any of them issues. You don't ever get a time to talk about them. And then what RTE tried to do was, on the last debate, the last prime time debate, they tried to bring us in all in, because it would have caught, or people would have seen them, what they were at like otherwise. So they tried to bring us all in and make it look like they were giving us advice, but quite clearly they weren't. They put the so-called, what they call the main candidates in a section by themselves, and tactically they put Matt McCarthy in there. And what the idea of that was, so they could all gang up on Matt McCarthy, because they thought that the Sinn Féin vote was going to be high, which it turned out that it was. So they tried to blacken Matt McCarthy, and then basically any of us in the other group, the second group, where they were afraid that we would have questions about evictions, about austerity, about suicide rates, about environmental issues and so on. So they kept us out of that group. So basically we before 40 minutes before they went live on prime time, Luke Ming Flanagan suggested that, you know, it should be broken up better and that was unfair. John Squires from Ben Gilroy's camp decided that all the names should be put in a hat and pulled out, and that would have been a fair system. RTE didn't do it, so myself and Pat decided to highlight it. We just tried to stay in there and participate, and what happened was we were forcefully removed. So it just will show you what RTE will do to protect the status quo.
Okay, would you have a message for the people who have voted for you?
Yeah, to everyone who voted for me, whether it be first, second or third preference or anywhere along the line, thank you very much. And as I say, I haven't been elected, but I'll still continue doing what I did beforehand maybe a bit more, as well as doing uncovering some of the corruption, focus a wee bit more on some of our positive points like the Black Rock Walk and that. But I still plan on continuing on, and as I say, I will run again. And thanks a million again. Thanks for not voting for the main parties, and those people who didn't vote, who would have voted for me, because there seems to be an awful lot of people who would vote for people like myself are just disillusioned, and they feel that the political system has let them down and they won't vote. But it's important for the next time for them people to come out and vote, because it's only by you vote, or when you don't vote, you're allowing the main parties to stay in there, because their followers are programmed to go out and vote. It's important to them. So, as I say, times are changing, and come out and vote again. Thank you very much.
Thanks a million, Mark Fitzsimons.
Marcus Howard, test 1, 2, 3.